Hi folks, and welcome to the Fimmelberg channel. This time in the forest again, and a very special place for me. And today I want to talk to you about another recommendation for a pocket knife. And I think you guys might think I get paid by Victorinox for raving about their quality and stuff and what have you. Um, but well, it is how it is. I'm not getting paid, and um, it's just that I'm really fond of them. And a lot of you guys might know the my little neck knife. That's the camper I modified. It's some 30-40 years old, don't know, and got a badly dented little blade. So I um, modified it, and actually that was a really great thing because it's an awesome detail blade now, and a big knife, a big blade and stuff. And I did a convex bevel to 0, and this is a really great detail carving knife. And but a lot of you guys might want a little bit something bigger in your pocket, which I perfectly can relate to. And Victorinox is also catering for that need. And I am talking about the Victorinox Ranger 55. And this is the version with the plastic scales with rubber inlays. It comes with a 95 millimeter main blade, which is just 2.4 millimeters thick, which has a really beautiful ricasso, which is, on the other hand, a pain in the ass to sharpen, to reprofile. You can sharpen it all right, and that's not the problem. And the serviceable length of the grind is well, it's some 90 millimeters. These are some 5 millimeters that are actually not sharpened at all. Sometimes it is a bit of a hindrance, but I don't think it is really relevant because it's a really awesome cutter as is. It's just gives you a little bit more length for for snacking or something. If you want to cut some a big loaf of bread, this is better because you don't mutilate the bread, or some bigger sausage or something. And you for a slate, it's great because you can spool longer shavings, and this is really awesome. Also, the shape of the blade, which is a little bit more pointed, is great for spoon carving because you in the limited space of that you have for spoon carving, that's better. And the thickness above the edge is just 0.3 millimeters. Blade itself is some 95 millimeters. It comes with the trademark liner block. If you can see this, there's a liner that goes all the way behind the root of the blade, and you get, which I really find awesome gimmick, you press this Swiss cross, and if you do this, you move the liner out of the way, which really works a cinch. You can tell that they also make clocks, and this actually it works like a clock. And it's just next tool is a really awesome blade, and really fond of the Barco Laplander saw, because it's a little bit more resilient than the silky varieties or something, and cheaper. But this one is almost up to par to the Barco Laplander. Also, it's really resilient. It is made from 1.34 steel, which translates to 420 HC. Same steel as the Buck variety buck knives, legendary, what's it called, 112, 110 folding hunter thingy, which by the way I haven't ever tested. Don't know why I didn't buy it. And this is the material of the saw. The blade is made from either from 1.4110, which translates to 440B, I think, and 1.4116, which translates to something between 440A and 440C, which is a steel with chromium and manganese. In Germany, elderly people often call it Kamagan steel, which translates to chromium manganese steel. And just a little anecdote. Kitchen knife steel. Really resilient, rust resistant, tempered to 58 HRC. And if you watch this here, this little guy here is aged oak, and that has would lay submerged in the mud for ages. And if you look at this, the really fine shavings I can make with this, also with a little bit of effort, really something really hard wood, and after this it still shaves all right. What I also did, what I already did, is carving this container from birch wood with it. This is the lid, and if you know how it's done by drilling, and obviously this is gross abuse of the knife, but and it voids the warranty, enough said. But the blade is perfectly resilient enough to do this. And if you look at the sharpness, this is I hold it with 3 fingers. This is birch. I can't do this with the oak, because it's just too hard and too dry and too much silicate in it. And if I use force, you can see that's really it's making really short terms of the wood. And if you look at this, there's a branch situation going on. I carve around the branch in order to get to the nice and polite wood, and you can do this in no time, and just break off the excess. And even if you go against the grain now, it performs a cinch. Saw I also introduced you to. It also has tin can opener, which is I find it really handy too, and gets used a lot. There is also a cap lifter, which has sort of an electric line, the bark thingy, don't know, which isn't sharpened, but you could sharpen it. There's also a flathead screwdriver. Also on the tin can opener, there's a smaller one. You can use this as a screwdriver too. And the legendary awl, which is really gets used by myself all the time. You can also use it for use with a fire steel. So well, and a corkscrew, which apart from opening wine bottles has another million uses. You can use it for don't know if it works with this one. If you have carved the out the core of a stick, you could remove the remnants. All right, like that. You can also store another little screwdriving tool in it, or some tinder or something. A lot of guys to put a little fire steel into it, or a fire steel and tinder and something. So the handles are pretty reliable, but actually they can be abused too. But well, actually there's little that will happen with this, and it's really cool on the hand because it has sort of an ergonomic shape, and it's, to my hand, it's really comfortable. It just really sits in my hand really well. The tools are not a big hindrance to me. For people with sensitive hands, the corkscrew might cause some hot spots. This is something you might keep in mind. And I added a lanyard of paracord I found in the woods because some asshole just left his fucking campsite where it is. So folks, clean up after yourself because you ruin it for everyone. Pointy finger, no, not meant as offense, please. I did clean up and I was actually enjoying this fine, but there were also a lot of empty beer cans and stuff I removed, and well, doesn't need to be so. But this is my lanyard, which is handy for taking the knife out of your pocket, and well, and overall I can only say, given this knife is a top-notch quality, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's just some 70 euros I think in this, or 80 euros in this configuration, and it is something that is really resilient. It is really strong if you don't abuse it, and the replacement warranty and the serviceability by Victorinox is really awesome. The service of Victorinox is really awesome. If you send in, recently an acquaintance of mine sent in a 150-year-old pocket knife, and they restored it. So there are really few corporations in the world that will do this. Also, the CEO of Victorinox is obliged by corporate policy not to claim any more wage than the 6 times the lowest wage in the corporation, which is a thing of respect and sustainability. So talking of sustainability, they use recycled steel and recycle as much of energy and water as they can, and well, and they are a tradition. The Swiss Army knife. It's just, well, if you support this, you support more than just a corporation and more than a brand. And this is why I'm constantly raving about Victorinox too, because that's also something to keep in mind. Not that well, you don't need to save the world all by yourself. That's not the thing. And if they were producing crap, well, don't buy the knives. But on the other hand, if the knives are of decent quality, if they are really serviceable, if they are sharp and do everything you want, and they get the bonus of being fair and sustainable, why shouldn't you? This is something why I keep ranting about Victorinox, because it doesn't get better than this and doesn't get more responsible than this. So that said, that's not the end of it. There are better knives on the market, and if you want a better knife, feel free to buy one. But I think even the better knives with the better steel are not as resilient as these, because I really abused knives from Victorinox and they came out alright, because they really get the tempering right. The liners for on some of the knives are 420 HC that is tempered. Let that sink in. So even if they are rather thin in the blade, they offer awesome resilience, and in my experience, and this one is on me for 2 years now, and has seen a lot of carving, a lot of abuse, and I had to sharpen it once. The other times I was just stropping it, and I was stropping it with a kitchen steel, which is not the best way to strop a knife. So you might consider using a block of wood or a leather strop or something. But as I said, even in that setting, it is really, really awesome. Still comes back for more, and if you use it halfway sensible, if you're buttoning through knotted hardwood, as I am not tiring to say, you will be in for a problem. Of course, that's not what it's made for. It's a cutting implement. It's a cutting tool, and to me, it's also a little bit of that grandpa sentiment. You got that Swiss Army pocket knife, and you were hiking with Gramps, and then you sat down and had a snack and whittled a stick and something and all that stuff. So, and chances if the police were to fleece you, and it's maybe better they find a Swiss Army knife than some tactical shrapnel. And because with this, if you say, well, that's for whittling and for snacking, which I trust it is, I'm not telling you to lie, chances they would give you cut you some slack. Maybe. That's not a recommendation. That's not that I claim that this will be the case, but there is a certain chance that they will cut you some slack, and they will, if you talk to them politely, respectfully, even if you have information-based evidence that they might not be the good guys, so to say, but still they are people, and still they do a job, and still they get a wife and children or what have you, and they have a favorite food, and they are human beings. There's not that they are they have crawled out of Saruman's lair or something. It's that is something we all need to keep in mind, that we are all humans, and that's a really important thing these days. And that said, enough of politics. This knife is a recommendation, and not the best one there is, but I don't think there is anything like the best knife there is. That's simply not going to happen. And Excalibur most certainly was forged out of some dirt, and it wouldn't stand a chance against a modern pocket knife. And I researched Excalibur for several years, and I know what I'm talking about. It was most certainly Ferrum Noricum, and but that's maybe for another video, maybe some museum video or something, which I would also like to do. But well, that said, I hope that was halfway helpful and helping your decision. well, given that the price isn't that exactly that high, and there's little you can do wrong with a Vic. And if you need to learn how to use them. This is something, and a lot of people who claim that they are shit simply haven't invested enough time to get to terms with them. It's just well, that I hear survivalists complaining that this is a slip joint. Well, it is a slip joint. If you don't want a slip joint, don't buy one. And if you use a slip joint for survival purposes and it falls back on you, well, it's your fault, not the knife's, because you bought the knife and you knew that it was a slip joint, so you have to take care, even in a stress situation. And rant over and out. It's not that I want to. It's just, well, it's actually, it's not an advertisement. I perfectly know that the knives are maybe something from yesteryear, when you consider there are steels like Magna Cut or whatever, what have you, CPM 3V. But I got some really excellent custom knives out of CPM 10V steel and stuff, and well, they cut for a longer time, but if they get blunt, they are an absolute nightmare to get back to serviceability in the field. If you sit at home and this is your kitchen knife or something, well, most certainly you will never need to sharpen it at all. You will most certainly not even need to strop it. But thing is, this one you can strop. If you get a leather belt and take off your leather belt and you strop, you could put it back to razor sharpness with your leather belt, even if you carve for a long time. So that's something you don't do with Magna Cut. It's just, and that's a fact. And if you're out for several days or weeks or even months or something, this is something you need to keep in mind. You can sharpen a Vic with a random rock, and I did on this one. I reprofiled the blade on this with some bloody sandstone. I refined it with water stones at home, but the reprofiling I did with a random rock in the woods. So that's, well, maybe that wasn't yet helpful, but because I'm saying yes and no, but the decision is up to you. This is what I want to say, that you need to make up your mind, and I can't take that from you, because well, you want a knife, I got some. And if you look for this video, chances you are shopping for a knife, and there is little you can do wrong with it. Actually, honestly, if you are a real world outdoorsman, real world bushcrafter, this is what a lot of people had on them for generations, and well, you can always do better. That's not the culprit, but on the other hand, sometimes the rise in quality is just marginal, because it looks great on paper, and it's awesome that there are bushcraft knives out with 63, 64, 5 HRC. That's a really good thing. It's really brilliant, and I love the technical specs, and I'm an absolute nerd what steel is when steel is concerned, and I love to learn new things. And there's always I always learn something new, because I tend to forget things, and that's well. But out here, that's the real world, and what you want is whittle a stick or snack, or start a fire, or prepare food, or forage for mushrooms, or carve yourself tent pegs, or what have you. And well, and you need to get a blade that cuts, and if the blade, lots of Magna cut blades do have really thick uh, thickness above the edge, so they just they are just lousy cutters, and which the steel wouldn't ask for. The steel could be ground much thinner and much finer, but then you don't have the margin because they are not as brittle as hard steels in the past were, but also you need a certain angle in which you need to sharpen them, and well, some D2 blade is not a great chopper. D2 is, or maybe, well, not a good cutter too, because I'm not overly fond of D2, but that's another topic. You know, sometimes the way people did it in the past is not always something you must revise, because it was enough. Well, that's also a little bit mediocre, and you need to try to or evaluate whether or not you should develop something new. But well, it works, and this is what is important to me. The knives work, and they also work in a pinch. I can have them replaced if anything goes wrong. I got an awesome cooperation, and well, that's my conclusion. You need to decide, and but I hope I could help you a little bit, because well, no fuss, just no fuss at all, and that's what Victorinox knives that I own, at least, are all about. No fuss at all, and that's what I'm talking about. So I hope this was nonetheless halfway helpful, and hope to see you soon. Until then, and I mean that, as you know, take good care of you, and get outside and enjoy the woods, and well, see you soon, and bye.